Hey, HannahMouse1 here. Welcome back to my Firehouse 51 series. In this video, I'll be painting the app floor. I think I should title this video the video where I initially paint everything the wrong color. I do it on this back wall here as part of painting it dark orange, but then I realised it needed to be a lighter cream colour with orange stripes across it. The doors I paint red on the inside for a really long time before I realised the interiors of the doors are meant to be grey. Yeah, it's a lot. I mess up a lot in this video. Yeah, here I go, painting those doors are red that I'm going to have to repaint over later, and it's going to be really complicated and messy and annoying. The red still peeks through on the panel bit, but hey, it's fine, I'm fine, we're all fine. I painted the floor this muted down blue colour. I will say, in this video, by the end, I will have finished the interior of the app floor with the exception of the vehicles themselves, and I will have added in my first firefighter characters. So make sure you stick around for that. And here I am building out these walls where it extends out slightly near the edges, just by gluing pieces of cardboard together and just using paper to act as like a connection between the two, which keeps everything nice and rigid and firm and secure. And I place this little piece on top to create a nice roof, and I paint these the same creamy colour as the wall, just going over everything nice and thoroughly. I make two of them, one for each side, but you don't need to see me do it twice, so I skipped through that. And I just glue these in place as such. I build out the area on top of them so there's a little overhang, because I want there to be space to put in little generator things in the gaps. Here's where I start painting on the darker orange stripes that I mentioned earlier. These just go all the way around in all the nooks and crannies, going all the way across as such. And I do another stripe nearer the top of the cream coloured section. And I just make sure that goes all the way across as well. Here's where I realise the doors are the wrong colours, and I start painting over those, which take out 10,000 coats and still doesn't look right, but well, I paint these little boxes of cardboard silver. These are just two pieces of cardboard and coated in paper. They're made the same way as the monument in the last video was, so if you want to see the technique you can find it in that past video. It's not that complicated, just stick pieces of cardboard together and cover it in paper. I painted them silver with little red dots on them to act as like lights. I add these little pieces, these little yellow tower things, which are exactly the same as the ones on the outside of the structure that I put in the last video. So I didn't show them again, because if you've already seen that, then there's no point watching this one as well. I create little tubing sections by just using cut up pieces of rubber bands and just gluing them in place and then painting them silver. And now I'm going to create a wall that's going to divide the app floor from the rest of the building. I'm not entirely sure if I got this wall 100% right, but I tried to copy the footage I could find of this wall as best as I could, trying to leave space for the turnout room and all that. But it's almost like the recording a building for half an hour is not what makes a TV show interesting, and for some reason these shows like to actually focus on the characters and not the walls. I don't get it, but yeah, it made it like it's very hard to find a decent shot of just like the wall. The plastic section for these windows here are made out is actually the interior packaging of a mathematics case, like, you know, those ones that hold like compasses and protractors and set squares and all that. Yeah, I just took the packaging which like holds everything in place and I just cut out a piece of it. And I paint it to match the opposite wall, messing it up slightly, but I can fix that later. And I start painting on the doors and stuff, but I realise this looks really stupid later on and cover this over. And just add stick-on doors, which looks a lot better. But I just stick this in place for now and just try and situate it nicely. And I connect everything on this side for now. This probably will get covered over when I do this. But yeah, and I fill in the gap on this wall with a piece of tissue just to make sure everything looks nice and seamless. This is when I realise the doors look stupid and I paint over them And here's me painting some actual doors that I can just stick in place afterwards. So yeah, I just paint 2 metallic doors, which are going to lead to the turnout room, and then some matte doors, which are going to lead to the corridors on the other side. Here's me starting to make the squad table by just sticking some pieces of cardboard together to make some miniature furniture. I like the squad table. I just like the idea that Squad 3 just has one area of the firehouse which is their own. I think it's kind of cool. And just like the sense of entitlement around it. You see, especially in those episodes where Squad 3 and Truck 81 inevitably fell out and then they'd have some massive fight about who could sit at the squad table, who couldn't. It's like, guys, it's just a table, but it's so much more than that as well. So yeah, I paint the table brown. And now I'm going to make some cushions by just sticking pieces of cardboard together and covering them in scraps of tissue. These are going to form Severide's lounger chair thing, but yeah, I have to wait for those to dry, so once they do, I can glue them together to create a little chair. I love this little chair. It comes out so cute and it's so tiny. All this furniture is so small and I love it, and yeah. I create little swivel chairs by cutting out these like crosses and stacking up paper on top of them and then adding a little chair back. I paint all the furniture. I do the lounger chair in a dark green, and I do the chairs in an array of mismatched colours. One of the chairs did inevitably get lost. Stuff happens when you're using these tiny, weeny little pieces. But honestly, I think it was for the best, because looking at it now, I think if I did put it in, it would be a bit too cluttered. So, you know what Bob Ross says, no mistakes, just happy little accidents. I paint these yellow dots all the way across the app floor. These are supposed to imply the tape which guides where the trucks park, or like the apparatus parks, that go all the way across. I think it just guides the wheels and make sure everything can fit in nicely if everything's parked nice and neatly. To create the firefighters, finally, I'm going to whip up a batch of paper mache and just massage it into a nice clay texture. These are definitely the smallest paper mache creations I've ever made, and they will not be detailed, I can tell you that much. I don't even give them eyes. I just basically create human-shaped blobs which can act as Cap and Tony, which are the characters I'm going to be adding in at the squad table. So yeah, I give them little arms, and most of the look's going to come across in the paint job, but I did try and get their stature at least somewhat right. Like, Tony tends to keep his elbows on the table and is a bit more hunched over, whereas Cap tends to sit very upright and only has his hands and wrists leant on the table. I mean, this is generally speaking. I'm sure you can find clips where this isn't the case, but generally this is the way they sit, as far as I can tell, so it helps. And yeah, I just create these little characters, and it really starts to bring the scene to life. I paint them, I give them little, do their skin tone, I do their clothing, make sure that Tony's wearing his signature hat, and they're both wearing blue because that's the firefighter uniform colour, and I give Tony his hair. But obviously Cap doesn't need hair because Cap is bald. So that made the paint job for him slightly easier. And with stuff this small, I'll take all the easy paint jobs I can get. I stick everything in place, and here is how it looks in the end. I am pretty happy with this so far. Next video, I intend to get all the vehicles complete. But apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!